Hey adventurers, hey Paxians, welcome back to another video. I'm Phoenix, and today we get to talk about one of my favorite aspects of Pax Dei. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with it, but we're talking about combat today, and I couldn't be more excited after reading the announcements. Um, I've had to make a couple of videos, a couple of recordings, because I got too excited and I just started talking a lot and just needed to take a breath. So, like I said, I am super excited about what's coming for the verse 3 combat changes. Essentially, the team is introducing this new RPG system, is what they've called it, and it's a very substantial change to the way combat gear weapons currently work. And so I wanted to really work through this and just talk about what those things are, and really just also digest them at the same time, because it's a lot to take in given how long I've been involved with Pax Dei, how many changes I've seen over the course of time. I want it to sink in at the same time. So one of the things that I think has been missing from combat is the unique and variety within the different skills. And really what Mainframe is doing is they're pushing into the Holy Trinity more than they have ever done before, and really trying to create the tank, the DPS, and the healer builds without constraining people to a specific class. And that's very evident in the information that they provided today. So not only are we seeing specific weapon changes, but we're seeing specific gear changes. Progression is changing a little bit, and overall, like I said, it's a very big change to the whole combat and RPG system. So let's dive in and talk about some of the aspects that are changing. First one is this item power and progression. So weapons will have a certain required minimum level. So you can see this one is 20 for the wrought iron hand spear. There's an item power, and we also see that weapons have 3 abilities. Now this is not specific to the wrought iron hand spear. All weapons are getting 3 abilities, which is probably one of my favorite aspects. It's automatically, just by doing this, it's deepening the level of combat. And yeah, I'm just excited. Anyways, so we'll also see combat XP and armor XP. And one of the things I found interesting is that in order to simplify and work this system out, and it makes sense why they have to remove all the items now, is all these items are just basically being redone from the ground up. That includes armor. So there are some additional changes to armor. Some of the shoulders and the chest pieces are going to be combined into one item. So we're losing shoulder pads, or pauldrons, excuse me, and a couple of other slots. And you can see in the updated screenshot here, I know it's pretty small, so I apologize about that, but the screenshot itself shows a few less slots than we currently have. So with the changes to armor, Mainframe is really, like I said, really pushing into the dispersion of the different types of armor. So the plate and metal wearing folks, those will really become the tanks. So they'll have high resistances to physical damage, increased threat generation, bonuses to blocking and crowd control effectiveness and resistance, and other related defensive capabilities. Medium armor is your standard DPS class with a mixture of balance and survivability, and light armor is, of course, your favorite and friendly spellcasters and healers with the basically weakest defensive armor, but also the trade-off being that damage and healing are effectively stronger. So, like I said, lots of changes to gear, and we have a few examples of spells that they've provided to us that are going to be on the gear still. So things like taunt or pulling enemies in for the plate wearers. You've got some utility spells for the DPSers. So for example, ambush is an invisibility spell. This one is supposed to last for about 10 seconds of invisibility with a roughly 60 to 70 second cooldown, I believe was said on Discord. And then, of course, your light armor wearers are going to be the folks that are casting your healing spells or some of the additional utility spells that are out there. So very interesting changes. I mentioned this already, but 3 weapon spells per weapon, or 3 special attacks per weapon is what they're calling them. Interestingly enough, there's not a final hit bonus. So, the different swings, the different chain attacks, the final hit bonus is not going to be there. So it kind of releases you from having to follow through with that whole entire chain if you don't want to, which I find sometimes tedious. And then, of course, they give us a few examples of some of the new weapons spells. So things like Earthquake or Tempest Command, which I think sounds really interesting. Sunder, Interrupt, Guard Breaker. So we've got quite a variety of changes to combat in terms of spells. I believe it was mentioned there are 36 spells that are coming our direction. Of those 36, we do have some healing spells, which also come with a new weapon type, and that is the Healing Staff. So you can see an example here in the screenshot of a staff and some healing spells. It sounds like there are 2 different types of healing staves currently, one being a cleric staff and one being a sylvan staff. So the cleric staff kind of feels more like your standard like WoW priest kind of feel. I got the Divine Missive sounds like actually like New World's healing spell a little bit, which I find really interesting and fun. And then the Sylvan staff feels much more like a Fey or Druidic type of staff. It reminds me of the WoW Druid, which I absolutely love. Probably my favorite class to play out of any games that I've played in very, very long time. Absolutely love that staff. Love that class. But anyways, so along with the 36 spells and the healing, we also got, sorry, I scrolled a little too far. We also are getting a new resource called Spirit. And I have a screenshot that I'm also going to pop up here. So here are some updates to the UI. So you have your stamina bar at the very top there. Then you've got your food buffs. And then you have your HP. And then you have your spirit or energy. And this is the new resource that's being added. Now, Osric did clarify on Discord earlier this morning that, stamina and spirit are both resources. And I'm going to pull up the specific quote here because it is very important to just kind of read out loud. So stamina and spirit are almost the opposite of each other. Stamina is relatively low in terms of the pool, but replenishes very quickly. And the spirit pool is relatively large, but it replenishes slowly. So stamina will be used for things like blocking, gathering, swimming, sprinting, jumping, and climbing. Whereas, and this is my commentary, the spirit would obviously be used for spells. So, so lots of changes coming. Let me go back to our page here. Some other related changes. The AI for dungeons is going to be worked on quite a bit. So that temporary teleport feature thing that they have is going away, thankfully. Aggro management, as we already mentioned, one of the spells or a few of the spells are going to have aggro capabilities, but also the armor itself is going to have aggro functionality. So aggro management is getting reworked, which I think is a relief to some folks. So it's less cheesy that way. And again, already mentioned that progression itself is going to be changed and hopefully smoother. The UI is getting updated to account for the additional skills and abilities and spirit that we're getting. So like I said, I'm super excited about this update. I can't wait to see if this is any indication how crafting changes may be. Like verse 3 is going to be a huge update. Now mainframe's already said that, but when you start digesting what's actually changing, it feels like a huge update. So I am like I said, I'm beyond excited for verse 3 content. I can't wait for it. If I did my math right, we are roughly 4 weeks out from the end of the window for when we should get verse 3. So we got the spotlight for combat, or the RPG system, today. Up next, I am expecting to see the crafting update, which will theoretically be somewhere along the lines of this type of spotlight. And then that last week before basically the end of the window, I'm expecting us to get the official date for verse 3 content to land. So we're not that far away. It still feels like that. I still feel a little anxious for what's coming soon, but like I said, if this combat update is any sort of indication about what crafting is going through, I have high hopes that it's going to be a solid update. Obviously, it's not going to be a perfect update. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be issues. Setting myself the expectation now that it's not going to be all butterflies and rainbows, but this is a solid step in the right direction, Mainframe. Obviously, we're not playing it yet, but I truly can't wait to play it. I truly can't wait to digest a little bit of it, and am very much looking forward to it. So that about rounds us out for the main post update. Now, there are another 10 pages worth of FAQ documents that Mainframe, or that Osric came through Discord after the post went live, and basically added additional commentary based on some particular questions that that our groups have had. So I'm not going to belabor you with the whole 10 pages worth of commentary, because I feel like I'm taking things out of context then, but there are a few items I would love to just quickly highlight. So the first one here is that bows, let me open it up here. All right, so bows have come up a couple of times, and bows were brought into the same balance, but they might be slightly more useful right now, but they are not getting any abilities. Now, bows have been mentioned that that sort of like larger changes to them are coming in a later update, just not for verse 3. Shields are another particular field that some folks have asked about, and there was one. There we go. So shields and two-handed weapons can still block. One-handed weapons and healing staves cannot block. So if you want to do blocking, you have to have a shield. However, shields no longer have shield bash. So unfortunately, our naked shield bash events are going to be a thing of the past. So that's unfortunate. So anyways, just a couple of highlights from the FAQ document. Like I said, there's like 10 pages worth that are definitely worth reading. You can go out to Discord and find all of these, but I just put them all in one place so that way it's easier for folks to read. So, yes, verse 3. I'm super excited about it. Still trying to set my expectations low, but I would be lying if I wasn't a little bit more excited about this update than any of the other updates that we've had, because combat has been near and dear to my heart. And I have wanted and waited for a significant update, and we're getting a significant update. So I'm excited for it. I hope you are too. If you're not playing right now and you're interested in what's coming, this is a great place to start for verse 3 to see what's coming soon. There's a lot to look forward to with verse 3 if you're still on the Pax Dei bandwagon. If you're not, that's okay. Not every game is for everybody. I've taken a break myself a little bit here and there just because I don't want to get burnt out. But I am super excited for verse 3. I think I've said that probably 15 times already, but very true. So before I say it again, I'm going to go ahead and close the video out and say thank you for watching. Hopefully this has been valuable to you. Like I said, go read the FAQ with the additional commentary. And until next time, friends, adventurers, Paxians, we'll see you on Discord. Take care.